If you are a small business owner who relies on digital marketing to grow your business, then you've likely considered trying to launch something like a YouTube channel or even a podcast to grow online and get seen without needing to be on the constant content creator hamster wheel. But if you haven't actually started yet, or you haven't seen the growth that you want, or you've had that lovely start-stop pattern, then I bet I know why. Because if you are running a small business, private practice, you probably feel like you're too busy to take on another full-time job of content creation. I want to change that narrative. So going into 2026, I'm going to be running a year-long experiment, testing out how we can make the content creation process more manageable, something that's easily repeatable, and of course, profitable, especially as somebody who maybe you don't have the cash flow to invest in other team members to be doing your editing for you or other marketing agencies to help you manage and run your content. So what is the experiment? Up until today, I've basically had team members who've done all of the video editing for me because this has been the thing that I really don't love doing. Of course, one of the things that I know is that most small business owners don't have the time, money, resources to have another person edit their content for them. So I want to see how we can take what you're experiencing as a small business owner and give you an actual real life experience of me taking back all of the different pieces so that we can see what it's going to look like, how much time it's going to take, how profitable it's actually going to be, and what the difference is between having team members do it versus me doing it myself. There's a few key metrics that we're going to track over the next few months with how we're going to look at the content, but also profitability and productivity of what we're doing. This is important because this isn't just a hope, guess, and feel good about it. We want to look at actual data. The first metric that we're going to be tracking is time. What we want to prove here is how can we actually make the content creation process for long-form content become something that's more manageable, doable, and doesn't actually eat up a ton of your time. More importantly, how can we look at the time that you are spending on content creation and equate that to what the actual profitability is in your business and how it's growing your business? The way that we're going to measure business growth, which is going to be our second metric, is going to be in two different ways. One, it's going to be how you're actually growing your email list, so the actual assets that you own. And then two, how are you generating clientele, interest, and people reaching out to purchase, enroll, or book with you and your services. In our business, we'll be measuring this with a new offer that we're launching in 2026. So we'll be able to have a fresh start here with something completely new that we haven't actually launched before. And we'll be able to start it from the ground up so that this can feel like we actually are at the same starting point for those of you who are just getting started from ground zero when it comes to your marketing. The third metric that I'm going to be tracking has more to do with the quality of the videos that I'm going to be editing and how those videos are performing on platforms like YouTube. So what we're going to be tracking here is the actual watch time on our videos, the number of subscribers that we gain per video, and of course the engagement from those videos. We're going to have a nice little comparison with the control data that we've had for the last year and seeing how previous videos that other editors have edited for us have performed in contrast to the videos that we're going to be creating and editing ourselves. Okay, so let's get into what are those big changes that I'm going to be making and what you can expect. Change number one, we're going to be focusing on scripting to help build confidence. Now, scripting can feel like a really tedious process, especially if you're somebody like myself who likes to do a little bit more freestyle content. So I'm going to be focusing more so this year, getting clear on what we're going to be recording, how we're going to record it, the structure for the video, so that when we go to record, it can feel less like you're staring at a blank screen and instead moving towards making the recording process a little bit more productive and efficient. The change we're going to be making second is something that I've always leaned hard on, and that of course is keyword research and SEO optimization. Now, the one thing I'm going to be doing differently about this is instead of just focusing on the keyword research, which is what we've done predominantly on this channel and making sure we are of course looking for keywords that we want to rank for, is organizing the topics and the content into categories and into more of a storyline. And finally, the third metric, which is the biggest change that we're going to be making in 2026, is the DIY editing process. It's a challenge that I want to take not just for myself and to build my own editing skills, but also to help those of you who maybe don't have any other option other than to DIY it to see that it can be possible. So like I said at the beginning of this video, we're not just going to be doing this and hoping that it works. I'm actually going to be tracking the data, and we'll be doing something like maybe maybe a monthly report to look at what we've done, how much time it's taken, the progress of that video, and of course, what we've seen when it comes to our metrics for success, so that we can see, is this actually something that's going to be profitable, effective, and reliable for those of you who are just getting started. If you're curious and you want to follow along, I highly recommend making sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on this journey. If you have been scared to start, then let this be your invitation to follow along and get both the inspiration, but also, more importantly, the actual data behind what it's really going to take. Until next time, look forward to seeing you all very soon.